Hey everybody. Boy, it's been a really hot week across most of the nation. Most of the nation hit 90 degrees or hotter. The good news is there's going to be a break for some areas with a mid-summer reprieve in temperature. Other areas, especially the areas that unfortunately have been really hot, are going to stay hot for a while, maybe even the rest of the summer. Let's talk about that in today's weather briefing. Once again, we had severe storms and primarily hail and windstorms, and that high pressure, that heat dome, provides heat energy. It also holds a lot of moisture, so we get these heavy downpours. I live in St. Louis. I had a 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gust with one of those storms yesterday afternoon. And you know, this is pretty consistent with climate change. Because the atmosphere can hold more moisture, these storms are producing a lot more heavy downpours and extreme weather events. Now we look at the hottest temperatures over the last week. Anything in yellow, we had temperatures 90 degrees or higher. Anything in orange, 100 degrees or higher. And then in the southwest U.S., 110 or higher. And Phoenix had just about the entire month. It has 110 degrees high temperature each day. Now, if you look at these heat advisories, current heat advisories, that aligns pretty closely with the really high dew points here, mid 70s, even upper 70s. And look at Savannah, 81. You get mid to upper 70s. That is really soupy air, and you combine that with 90 degrees, and boy, that's really yucky. So if we take a look at rivers here, we can see the northeast U.S., the blue dots. Rivers are running high due to the recent rain and flooding. If you look at the Midwest, Great Lakes region, a few areas also running on the high side due to recent rain. And California has also been, Southern California has also experienced high river flows. So once again, this has been over a month now. The heat dome over the southern U.S. is dominating most of the nation's weather. It sort of moves back and forth like this over the summer, but what we've seen over the last week is it's expanded. It's expanded to the north, it's expanded to the southeast, and it's expanded to the southwest. Now we're also keeping an eye on this area of low pressure because eventually that's going to push the jet stream a bit further south. By midweek, we still have that area in red is saying higher than normal pressure and some hot weather. But by the end of the week, we start to see the jet stream begin to slip south, and we're going to set up a pattern where this high pressure, the heat dome, is squeezed. It's sort of compressed to the south. So we're going to have more of a gradient in temperature. And let's show you that. You don't necessarily see it over the next couple days. The northeast U.S. gets some really a nice reprieve. New England is going to get some really pleasant summer temperatures. The middle U.S. is going to be continued hot. But then as we get into early August, take a look at this. We get a pool of some cooler air here, and we start getting a gradient of temperature here. And that's going to be most likely a stationary boundary, sort of waving back and forth. Here's the outlook for August, and it's beginning to verify pretty good. I think what's really interesting here is look at this plot here, down right in here. I show this a lot. This is summer warming. This is an analysis of past temperatures since 1970. And what we see here is we sort of see this area right in here has not experienced as much warming as other areas. And I find it interesting because it's not just a U.S. or Northern Hemisphere, it's a global anomaly. But the West, Texas, and the Deep South, and even the East Coast does experience that warming, and that's what we're seeing. So I sort of think we're clicking into that pattern that when I put my summer outlook out, that's what I call for, that we would merge in with this pattern, and we're seeing, it looks like we're seeing it once again. Bottom line, we're going to have a pleasant reprieve to summer over parts of the plains, upper Midwest, and Great Lakes and Northeast, but the heat's going to really hold in the Pacific Northwest, across the southern tier of the U.S., including the desert Southwest, Texas, Oklahoma, parts of Oklahoma, and parts of the Southeast. Now here's our rain this week. It looks sort of hard to describe. There's not a whole lot going on. It does look like some needed rain over the plains and spotty rain over the eastern U.S. and then the Florida peninsula as well. And finally, here's the extended outlook. That pattern I told you about, that's going to continue for a while. You can sort of see here's our gradient, here's our boundary, and right along there is going to be our best chances for rain. You can see it right there. And to the south of that boundary, continued oppressive heat. To the north of that boundary, not too bad, much more pleasant summertime weather. That's your briefing. Hope you have a great week. Take care.